Most recovery studios, they cost anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000 just to build, and that's before you've gotten a single customer. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create your recovery wellness brand for $50K or less. Stick around till the end, and then I'll show you how you can get involved with co-building this with me, licensing it, and then launching in your city so that you can be the go-to for wellness, recovery, and high performance. So first, why recovery studios? And this has been kind of interesting to me. I just started contrast therapy about 5 weeks ago, and I really like it. And it got me thinking, how do we get this into the market more for people to utilize? And recovery studios, they're exploding. So sauna, cold plunge, there's like health benefits as well. So like doing a 15-minute sauna followed by like a 1 to 3 minute cold plunge and then doing that multiple rounds. That is becoming a trend. I've seen it like anywhere from $200 to $500 a month, depending on how many times you want to go per week. And more recently, we've seen a lot of franchises popping up. So we're going to create a model that mimics this, gives us all the benefits of this, of a $500,000 business. We're going to map it all out here. So the goal is to hit a $500,000 ARR or annual recurring revenue. And I'd like to do a membership model with this just because I think that makes the most sense. So in order to hit that, we need to hit $42K a month. And then we can reverse engineer the actual pricing, the plan, the setup. So the offer is basically going to be a recovery studio, like sauna and cold plunge. So another good one is Sweat House. And Sweat House is a good example of a franchise that like exploded. And it's a fairly expensive franchise to get off the ground, but they give you kind of a model here what the business actually is. So positioned in the 1.5 trillion global wellness market, we're going to kind of leverage a lot of the positioning, the branding, the pricing based on this. So we've got right here $550K investment. And so like a lot of assumptions with this build is that we're going to bootstrap this and we are going to basically start from zero and we are going to get to 42K MRR within 60 to 90 days. And ideally we pre-sell to open. And we'll talk a little bit more about how we're going to do that in a minute. So the business model, what I really like these days are these 24/7 private clubs. Think of Anytime Fitness, but smaller. They basically give you a key card and it's like members only, and they do full security. So there's basically zero staff. With the layout, we can do a sauna and plunge, and we have like 1 or 2 available. So looking at the Sweat House model, you'll kind of see here, we can kind of leverage this. They have these rooms where it's basically shower, sauna, and cold plunge. This is taking up a lot of footprint. What we could do is model after that, where each person either has like a private room or you just have one available and you're just putting it either in a gym or you're in a tiny location and launching lean. As we can go like a really tiny footprint and we can either just have one available, and that means it's one person per hour. If you're a member of this, then you can book or schedule yourself in and it blocks off the slot. And you can do like one person and do a smaller single sauna with a single smaller cold plunge with the shower and restroom, and then same kind of like keycard access. You do this model right here for 17, and you've got yourself an individual pod, you've got security, you've got your little 1 person an hour micro model, and then for scheduling, when people come in, you can just use a scheduling tool where once it's blocked, then it's good. Like nobody else can take this slot from 9 to 10, and it'll remove it from the schedule. So then that would technically allow you to have, 24 slots a day. And then you've got, if you're running 24/7, that would be 168. So you could probably comfortably have at least 100 members. Not everybody's going to go every day, So that would be 100 members. And then we can figure out, okay, what do we need to hit, 42K a month? Or we'll have some like scheduling, we'll have access system. We've already talked about like layout. So we've got about, let's call this 20 to 25K on the build out. And we've got kind of our pricing model here. Let's go quickly chat about marketing. So what I've seen a lot of these companies do is run like some coming soon ads, like either Facebook or Instagram, or mostly Facebook, Instagram you'll use. So like I know that Sweat House, they'll do like the actual experiential type ads. So if we take a look at what they've got running right now, we can kind of play around with like what's working. This one, why not? Struggling to find time for yourself. So very like high end, like treat yourself type positioning. So we can do something similar. First session is $25. Book your first session, book your first session. I don't know what their actual membership prices are, but let's take a look. So they've got it based on how many times you want to go. So unlimited is $249 for 60 minutes. Okay, cool. So I think we could do something very similar. So maybe we adjust our pricing a little bit. So like for example, we make an offer of like 200 members, the founding 100 members get a lifetime rate of $150 a month for unlimited, which is actually quite competitive in the Florida market. To get $150 a month is 4 times, is basically once a week, but we're going to give you unlimited if you become a member in this. And then what we would do is set up the Facebook page, the Instagram account, and then we would run lead forms. And I've seen Messenger ads for this. So I would test both of these, and then I would target a like 6 to 15 mile radius for people interested in fitness, people interested in wellness, people like just targeting that, or just go super broad. So do broad, and then maybe pick 1 to 2 interests. And then age range, I would keep that broad. And then we're going to send them to the pre-order offer. And then we'll have like a page where they can claim that. And we'll just keep track of like only X out of 200 seats left, or memberships. Something like that on the page. And we could just make that kind of like the marketing pitch. So this model right here, I actually really like this. So then the question becomes, okay, how do we know if we're actually getting good leads for this? Like, how do we know if we're actually going to make money with this? So I'm looking at kind of the 6 to 12 month runway for LTV, or lifetime value. And so that would be, let's assume 6 to 12 months. That would be $900 to $1,800 for that customer. So in my head, when I'm planning this out, I'm like, well, we have no more than 30%. So under 30% of LTV gives us like a safe CAC, or customer acquisition costs. So then what we can do is we can do like $300 to $600 to get a customer. Now, granted, that's going to put us kind of in the red for the first few months. So to play it safe, it would be great to be less than obviously that 150, or one time, whatever the monthly plan. So on the founders, it would be really great to make that money back. So like obviously less than 150. And then for regular, it would be great to do less than 300. So now we just need to go through our math here and just see where we're at with budget. We'll talk about our actual revenue targets, work through that business model again, and confirm that we did it. And I think we did. So we've got 100 times $150, 15K. We've got 100 times $300. We've got 30K. So that means our income will be 45K. And we're going to get these from Facebook ads. So we're going to need to talk about our expenses here. So we've got rent, which is probably going to be 5 to 8K-ish. We've got the actual sauna. I'm going to budget about 20K. You probably could get this for about 12. So let's call it 15K. We've got the actual plunge. That plunge is probably going to be another 10K. We've got Facebook, so we've got marketing. I'm going to forecast our CAC for this at break even for month 1 on a pre-sale. It would be really cool from a cash standpoint if we collected annual prepaid. That's kind of an interesting little thing here. So if we did annual prepaid on this, that would take us to 180K cash up front, which is quite nice. So that's kind of a nice idea. I like that. And then maybe we even do like bonuses for prepaid. Something to consider for later. So now we've got our marketing spend. We could factor in, let's factor in a 1-to-1 break even on month 1. So that'll be 15K. So that'd be 1-to-1. We might even have to budget in maybe a little less or a little more for testing. So 20K. That's going to probably put us right at our 50K budget. If we did partnerships, then it's not really going to cost us dollars per se. It's just going to be slots, like giveaway. Like basically we go to a gym, they already have 500 members. We say, hey, we're new in town. We want to give all of your members 1 free contrast session. They can try our sauna. They can try our cold plunge. Doesn't cost you anything. And you can advertise that. And then anybody that comes and signs up, we capture that for basically $0 CAC and potentially convert them into a member of our recovery center. So something like that we can do. We're going to have kind of some regular like systems and just general OpEx. So software, security, cameras, like infrastructure costs. I would imagine let's budget like 3K for that. And then we've got potentially admin, VA, maybe $1,000 just for like help with administrative stuff, customer support, customer service. So now we're basically at 30, 40, 50. So if we can keep rent at 5K, we can keep OpEx around 3. There's another 5. We can keep paid ads at 15. So we're at 30, 40, 50. So 50K. Now, granted, these aren't going to be monthly expenses. These are just going to be like the first month. And if we do the annual prepaid and we're able to get those 100 people up front with a 15K total CAC or 150 per person CAC, then we should be okay. Otherwise, we'll go in the dip for the first month. We put it on a credit card. We use 30-day cash. We make that money back in month 2. And then we could bootstrap this up to 45K MRR margins on this. So, I mean, looking at this right here, our actual expenses on a monthly basis. So these are going to be startup expenses. My honest opinion, we're going to keep ads going. I always throw in miscellaneous in case we need it. So we've got 5, 10, 25. Beautiful. That puts us like just shy of 50% margins, which when I'm setting up these businesses, I love to like aim for anything above 40% is like this business will run itself. We can systemize this business The other thing too that we have to factor in is you as the owner or me as the owner. So when I spin this up, total monthly expenses, and granted, I'm doing a lot of simplification here. This is like how I would build this if I didn't want to give Sweat House 600 grand, and how I wanted to build this like to my branding with my system, super lean, no overhead, no 7 employees. I don't want to front, the capital in the first minute. I want to bootstrap my way into it and basically take my 50K investment and turn it into 500K in 12 months. So 10x my money. This is exactly what I would do. And I'm actually considering doing it. So more about that in a few minutes. But we're basically looking at 45. So the P&L on this. So 45 minus 25, 20. And we technically have to take, at this point in the game, you're going to want to take owner's salary. I would throw 3 to 5K in here for owner's salary. Check with your CPA. We'll just throw 5K in here for an S Corp. So you're really looking at 15. And then you can take a owner's draw. You're getting paid up here as the owner, like from like a tax standpoint. So you're already making 5K up there. But then once everything's paid out and you do your P&L and you close out for the month, I've seen it done both ways. I've seen some people do 100% draw on the profit, or I've seen like the profit first, you take a percentage. So me personally, I'm kind of in the middle of that. So Liz, what I do is I take 50% of profit monthly. So for that, I'd get another 7.5K draw. So on a business that basically runs itself, and you could play around with some of these numbers. And the nice thing about this too is you've now got equity in the entity, this Recovery LLC, but then you also are actually taking cash yourself and you're getting paid. So it would be a 5K W-2 plus a 7.5K draw, and you'd be actually seeing 12.5K a month, which is better than most executives. And you're not even working. So you're actually seeing 150K a year in total comp. So that's how I would do it. And you're probably working an hour a day, maybe 5 hours a week. So 5 hours a week. So I think we did it. I literally showed you how to make a $500,000 a year business, recovery space, sauna, cold plunge. Set this up. We went from 0 to $500,000 ARR. No VC funding, no outside funding, no loans, no franchises, no franchise fees. And a lot of these, they'll go for 200 to 500K plus royalty, branding, build out, red tape. You have to follow their procedures. It'll take you 12 months. You could copy this and you could implement it in the next 6 to 12 weeks and actually be profitable, cash flowing, and make, 45K a month plus. Pretty freaking wild. What I'm going to do here is invite you to join the Founding 5. And if you want to own the recovery market in your city, I am opening up 5 founding seats where we're going to build this out together. We are going to set up a licensing model and we're going to work together. We're going to co-build this. I'm going to act as your advisor, your CMO, your COO. We're going to go through the exact equipment list. We're going to get vendor pricing. We're going to save hundreds of thousands of dollars in build out costs. You're going to get the pre-sale launch list. You're going to get all of the ads. You're going to get the automations, the systems, the software, the setup, the infrastructure so that you run this lean. No need to hire a huge team. You don't need to go through the whole franchise FDD process. You don't need to waste 12 months. And you're going to have a complete operation stack to run this lean and profitable from day one. So if that is something you're interested in and you want to be part of this small group that brings this idea to life, we're going to be spinning this together. in the Spin Factory. So you can click the link in the description below to join the Founding Five. And that is all I have for you today. See you next time.